welcome to this explainer. Let's jump right into something that, honestly, almost every single cat owner gets wrong at some point. When you pet your cat, do you actually know for sure if they like it? I mean, most of us just assume that because they let us do it, they must be enjoying it, right? But here is the hard truth. Simply tolerating your touch and actually enjoying it are two completely different things. So today, our goal is a complete paradigm shift. We're going to move away from our human-centric ideas of affection and decode a cat's actual neurological reality. Because the way most of us pet our cats might just be silently teaching them to brace for a touch rather than lean into it.
So why do they suddenly bite? It's a universally frustrating experience, isn't it? You're having this seemingly happy petting session. The cat is purring, everything feels totally wonderful. And then out of nowhere, the tail starts twitching, the skin ripples, they spin around, and bam, they bite your hand. You're just left sitting there completely confused, wondering exactly what you did wrong to ruin the moment. Section 1. The Danger Zone. Unmasking the tail base trap. Okay, so most of us naturally gravitate right toward that spot directly above a cat's tail. It just seems like the right place to scratch. But the actual scientific diagnosis tells a totally different story. That patch of skin is literally one of the most nerve-dense areas on their entire body. When you scratch it, you aren't just giving them a nice sensation, you're firing off a massive flood of signals that their nervous system has to process all at once. Now, for a few seconds, sure, it feels good, but past that point, it tips into what we call petting-induced overstimulation. Their brain literally short-circuits. It can no longer tell the difference between pleasure and a threat. So the absolute crucial takeaway here is that sudden bite isn't aggression at all. It's really just their overloaded nervous system screaming for a timeout. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Wait a minute, when I touch that spot, my cat lifts their back end right up. They're begging for it. Well, this actually perfectly illustrates the trap we fall into. The elevator butt is a reflex, not a request. See, when they were kittens, they lifted their hindquarters automatically when their mother groomed them. It's completely hardwired into their biology long before they ever even meet you. So when they raise up, they aren't asking for a deep tissue massage. They're simply responding to a nerve signal, exactly the same way your leg kicks when a doctor taps your knee with a little hammer. Moving on to Section 2. Cats are not dogs, the impact problem. This really tackles a super deeply ingrained habit we humans have, treating our cats like they're just small dogs. Dogs evolved as pack animals, right? So rough physical play is literally built into how they bond. When you give a dog a firm pat on the side, their nervous system reads it as social, energetic, and fun. But cat wiring is the exact opposite. Cats are not inherently tactile creatures in that way. Their entire touch language relies on slow, sustained contact. They press, they rub, they lean. They respond to steady pressure, completely avoiding impact. So when you give a cat quick, playful pats on the head or the side, you might think you're being super affectionate, but their nerves register each of those taps as a tiny startle. Over time, their body just learns to brace for the impact. And hey, we actually have the hard science to back this up. A University of Lincoln study led by Dr. Sarah Ellis actually mapped out the preferred touch zones of 34 cats, and the data is exceptionally clear on this. Touch areas around the cheeks, chin, and forehead yielded highly positive reactions, simply because they are packed with scent glands. Conversely, touch near the tail base produced the absolute most negative reactions, causing that overstimulation we talked about. Patting just doesn't exist in their natural touch vocabulary, so no matter how gentle you think you're being, it always reads as somewhat foreign to them. So how do we actually fix this? Well, the actionable takeaway here is to trade the pat for a press. You've got to stop that tap, tap, tap motion entirely. Instead, use a flat palm and run it slowly down their back and just pause. Or simply rest your fingers against their cheek and let the cat do the work by leaning into your hand. I promise you, you will instantly feel them stop bracing and start truly enjoying the contact. All right, Section 3. The vulnerability of sleep as system power down. Let's just start with this wild number, 12 to 16. That is how many hours cats sleep every single day. And they don't just sleep because they're lazy. They absolutely need those completely uninterrupted sleep cycles to regulate everything from their daily mood all the way to their immune function. Now, this next mistake might actually surprise you, mostly because it comes from a place of pure love. Human intent says affection, but the feline translation, emergency mode. You see your cat curled up, looking incredibly soft and peaceful, and you just have to stroke them, right? But in the wild, a sleeping cat is an incredibly vulnerable cat. When they close their eyes in your home, they are trusting you entirely. They're telling their nervous system, hey, this environment is safe enough to completely power down. So when you reach out and touch them mid-sleep, you force that powered down system straight into emergency mode. Their heart rate spikes, muscles tense, and pupils dilate. Even if they quickly realize it's just you, at a deep neurological level, their brain just logged that they were unconscious and something grabbed them. Doing this repeatedly slowly destroys their deepest form of trust, which can make them chronically under-rested and irritable.
Which brings us to Section 4, the illusion of double love. Two-handed touching.
Okay, here's exactly why two-handed touching often completely backfires. You're petting your cat with one hand, they're purring away, so you figure, why not bring in the second hand to give them the full spa experience, right? Both hands on the cheeks. But instantly, they freeze, their ears shift, and they bolt. Why? Because you just triggered a primal signal. For most cats, being touched from both sides doesn't feel like double the love, it feels like losing their exit. The second their body feels boxed in, any good feelings they had are completely overwritten by our primal survival instinct screaming, I can't leave. And listen, this isn't just an opinion. Dr. Lauren Finca from Nottingham Trent University led a study that essentially proves this biological necessity. Giving cats choice and control makes them significantly less aggressive and more affectionate. Cats don't just consent to being touched, they absolutely must have the ability to revoke that consent at any given second. Even bonded cats grooming each other always leave room to walk away. The moment that option disappears, it stops being affection and immediately starts being restraint. The fix here is super simple. Always use one hand, leaving the other side of their body completely free. All right, let's get into Section 5, the feline greeting ritual, from assumption to consent.
Seriously, if you take away only one single thing from this explainer today, let it be this. When most of us walk up to a cat, we just reach down and start petting. To a cat, that's kind of like a stranger walking up and putting their hands on your face without asking. But look at the bonded cat check-in. Look at how two trusted bonded cats actually greet each other. They approach slowly, they stop at a short distance, they extend their noses forward, touch noses, and exchange scent. Only after this mutual check-in is complete does any physical contact happen. Every single time. No exceptions. It is hardwired right into their brains to establish safety first. So, how do we translate this hardwired feline ritual into a simple human sequence? Well, it almost feels a little too easy. Step 1, approach slowly. Step 2, instead of reaching down to pet them, just hold your hand completely still a few inches from their face. Seriously, don't wiggle your fingers. Just wait. Step 3, wait for the nose bump. If they lean forward and press their cheek into your fingers, well, that's their yes. They've officially completed the greeting. Now the entire interaction starts from a place of earned consent rather than forced assumption. It's a total game changer.
But wait, what if you hold your hands out and they just sniff it and pull back or completely look away? Don't be offended. That just means no. And it certainly doesn't mean no forever, it just means not right now. Sniffing and pulling back is a perfectly healthy boundary, and as good companions, we have to learn to accept it without taking it personally. And that brings us to a final, incredibly powerful thought I want to leave you with today. Respecting the no is the fastest way to earn their yes. When you stop boxing them in, when you trade the pat for a press, and when you finally start asking for permission using their own hardwired greeting ritual, you completely change the dynamic. You aren't just petting your cat anymore, you're actually speaking their language. So what does all this mean for you and your furry friend? Try the nose bump ritual today and just see how quickly your cat's response transforms. Will they finally lean in instead of bracing for impact?